warriors around, don't get caught in the mosh pit. Fuel to the fire, ain't nobody can stop it. Trouble in my city, but you know I'm across it. Got a 40 on my hip and I'm liable to spark it. Throw down these hits, my click is indivisible. I aim, you duck, I squeeze, now you invisible. I'm not afraid of getting physical.
Abrázame toda la noche, no nos queda mucho tiempo más. No quiero perder lo que queda. Seguimos siempre la pasión y confiamos solo en el amor. Yeah. No quiero perder lo que queda.
Is that working now? Oh, looks like it's working now. Hang on. Yep, sweet. Okay, cool. So, yeah, so that's what's pretty much today. We're just gonna be chilling out, working around with some durable functions, having a bit of a play with that in C#. So not necessarily much PowerShell today, but it'll be more C#. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, we're just gonna have a bit of a mess around. I've got a couple of objectives I need to achieve today, which is just write some basic durable functions, make sure I'm across them, make sure I can call those activity functions, and that's pretty much it for today. I do want to also try on Saturday when I stream again. I'm planning to basically build a bot which can basically post a message to a Microsoft team. I just want to make sure that I'll just do an initial a webhook post, but essentially I just need to make sure that that approval process is working, so that we can get that the approval processes working in durable functions. So anyway, that's pretty much it for today. So it's going to be fairly comfortable. So I literally just installed Visual Studio 2019 just now. Had to reboot a few times. It broke a few things. Uninstalled Visual Studio 2016. Okay. And also had to do a few other things with regards to setting everything up. So yeah, today obviously had a few issues to deal with Visual Studio, so had to overcome them, but nevertheless we're on time, which is always good. So I've gone ahead, just created a basic project, got a durable function app, just a basic function project. So I'm just going to go ahead and create an Azure function. I'm just going to call this durable function 1. I'm going to give it a durable function orchestration. Next thing we need to make sure is that we can actually execute it. And that we can actually do gets and posts to this function. I'm just doing gets and posts for the time being, so I can validate that it's working. Hopefully it just gets its act together. Okay, cool. Now I'm just going to zoom it in, make sure everyone can see my code. Just make sure that's full screen, everyone can see my code. Yep, perfect. Alrighty, so we've got so run orchestrator, durable orchestrator in context. So it's running durable function 1. Hello. Okay, so this is my activity saying hello. Yep. So it's calling an activity. That's cool. So I've got an activity function here. HTTP trigger. Okay, that's namespace can't be found. Oh, that's right. I can use it should already be on. I'm just going to run it and see if it works. I don't really want to have to install a package Could not be found. Are you missing? Find and install the latest version with previous changes. Okay, what else is it whinging? WebGL extensions. Oh, let's just clean that up. This is going to fail compiling. This is always the problem. I'm going to jump into Get, see if make sure everything's up to scratch. Yeah, because it's at 1.82. It needs to be 2.11, 1.1. Just update it. Yeah, go ahead and update. This is a pain. Oh well, this is the lessons that we're learning. I haven't played with functions in C# for a very long time now, so I'm kind of got to. It's going to take a little bit to get back into it. So I just want to see what the functionality, the durable functions are like, and then yeah, we'll go from there. We'll see. There's a problem I have. It's just got to add so many fucking classes. Just to bring this thing up to scratch. Alright, we're latest and we're stable. Apparently. But we still don't have... gotta clean everything up. Is inaccessible to Juris protection levels. Come on. I wonder if I can bin. I'm just gonna bin it. And then I'm gonna relaunch it. Yep, cool. I just want to see if it's updated the actual template, because I don't really want to have to go from scratch. Doesn't look like it. Fantastic. Okay. Why is this not working now? Orchestration trigger. This is iLogger though. Is iLogger? Oh my god. I'm just trying to remember what's the preferred logging function for. Because I'm pretty sure this template might be. I thought it was. Is it iLogger? No, iLogger's the new one. It's the new class. They had another logging type which was deprecated. This kind of going on how old I've. Just trying to clean up my now I'm gonna go hunt for all my classes. I really didn't want to have to do this. Like, I just really didn't want to have to deal with this. I just wanted to kind of hit the ground running. This is a pain in the backside. Like a mega pain, but I think I have to fight it. See if there's updates. Alright, I'm going to need to jump in the latest version. We're just going to see what the manage NuGet package is. What version is this? Let's have a look. Durable functions, long running. Yep. PowerShell in planning. Oh, they're still in planning. I really want to see it done in PowerShell. It'll make everyone's lives much easier. Durable functions currently ships. Extensions, durable package, durable task. Yep. MIT license. Yep. Okay. Durable functions also have support extendable. So it's not. Yep. Okay, it's fine. Okay, where's the documentation? Here it is. Durable functions. Is it using dot? Is it using functions.1? Version 1. This template currently creates a durable function using the older .1.0. I don't want. Oh my god. This is actually really frustrating because durable functions binding extension. Durable 2.0 introduces several breaking changes. Durable ones. Then why did you give me the document? Why didn't they actually just provide documentation on just 2.0? It would have been much easier. Alright, what's entity functions operation? Yep, durable entity like orchestration. Entity triggers. Yep. I just saw a very interesting text message. I'm just going to quickly respond. That's very interesting. So this is frustrating. Following example is an equivalent implementation of a counter using entity classes using methods. Oh my god. Okay. Define operations for reading, updating small durable entities. Yeah, that's really cool. I like the whole. Like orchestration function, entity functions with a special trigger type entity trigger. Unlike orchestrator functions, entity functions do not have specific code constraints. Okay, that's cool. Entity functions also manage state explicitly rather than implicitly requesting state via control flow. Ah, interesting. Function-based syntax, class-based syntax. Okay, so your entity trigger, switch to lower. Interesting. Hmm. Okay. I think it's time to transfer funds. Okay. Follow example code transfers funds, but account entities we're using orchestrator function. Okay. So async task, transfer funds async. Yep. Okay. Create entity proxy. Source proxy dot get. Ah, okay. So you just basically are fetching, you call the function source proxy. Oh, you denote, you create the actual. Ah, okay. Okay. So that's really interesting because obviously with all the features that it's added, this template is completely broken. It's not even usable. All right, so next thing I'm going to try and do is see if there's a SDK. I'm going to try and find an SDK. Where's an SDK? Create durable functions, orchestrations. So SDK. I love when you click this and it just takes you to nothing. I just orchestrations. I don't want to have to use functions v1, but I haven't done this in so long that I just. All right. Usually there's an SDK. Create a new function v2. Yeah. Oh, there is. It's been closed. Okay. When version function tools creating a v2 durable function results in failure. Well, if there's a v2, I'm gonna see if I can add it. Oh, this will be denoted v1. What's the settings say? Where's my function settings? It's version 2. Then why do I have a version 1? You got a version 2 project with version 1 templates. As a function. I only have one. So let's see what the HTTP triggers look like. Yeah, that looks normal. I'm just going to compile it, see if it runs. It should run. It should execute. You should see it call. Oh, here comes the storage emulator. Oh man, that's a pain. this door. Oh, I've just got home. Alrighty, yeah, so that executes. So why... I literally should just be able to hit this. Please pass the name of the query string. I'll just give it a query string. Let's give it a name. Okay, so that works. There's no issues there. So why is it that... Is it... I might have gone to the latest version and I shouldn't have. Alright, so let's go new Azure function. Honestly, it's frustrating as all fuck. Excuse the language, but this really is, because at the end of the day though, should I ever just go, yep, I want a durable function, orchestration, and make it work. But I can't because it's basically, so I've got to go back to package managing. And this is not ideal. Like, this is not something I'm not proud of, but I'm gonna see if I can find some. Before we go there, let's find some examples. Durable functions, V2. What do we got? I bet you it's keep track of entity and orchestration state is based on the actor pattern. Four out of 5. I want to see some actual examples. All right, well let's give this a go. I'm just going to see if we can update some of these classes. All right, client base doesn't exist. Context. Okay, what's or context base is that it's not durable. Orchestration client. I'm going to guess it's a durable client because jeez, what a guess. Durable orchestration client. Durable orchestration client. It's iDurable, isn't it? No. Oh, it could be. Oh, yes, it is. Yes. So durable orchestration client base. What was it called? Orchestration client. Durable orchestration client. Oh, I'm going to call it iDurable client. Let's see what happens. I honestly don't think this is going to work, but I'm following the documentation on how to migrate between version 1 and 2. Orchestration trigger is not registered. Alright, let's hit it, see what happens. Yep. Function 2 HTTP cannot be installed from web jobs. Is it missing the Azure WebDrop SDK attributes? Okay. I'm gonna kill that. Let's overload. So now we're just fighting the battles. Also uses a new host. What do we got? Host.json. We've got durable task, storage provider, local settings. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. We'll just do that. Okay, so we have a durable function which is not really being run. This is a bit of a pain. Not compatible with durable code changes. This section is literally was my first week at learning functions, was just troubleshooting issues. The binding types orchestration trigger is not registered. Where's orchestration trigger? Okay, it's not registered. Activity trigger is not registered. Please ensure the type is correct and the expanding extension is installed. I don't think it has activity triggers anymore. And I thought this was going to be the easy part. Honestly, that's what I thought. This is so frustrating. This is, oh my god. Back to the doco. Back to the doco. Orchestration triggers defined. Yep, that's in the bindings array of function.json. Does it actually have a binding? Honestly, this is such a headache. Like, the thing that drives me nuts is the fact that you've got a version 1 orchestration with a version 2. Okay, what's it whinging about here? Uninstall this package. Alright, we're getting rid of it. It's gone. I'll try and simplify this. How is it calling? No, it's using the correct package. It was using the right package. This is frustrating. frustrating. This is so frustrating. Alright, version 1 it is. I'm literally just driving me absolute bananas. Go ahead and update it. Like, it's awesome. I love the whole concept. But the problem is the fact that you basically have so many issues with just trying to actually create a basic function. That's all I want to do is just create a function. Oh my god, this is just frustrating. Okay, now can I actually run my function? Yes, I can, because I'm running version 1, not version 2. Alright, let's go ahead, see if this executes. I think when was version 2 released? Durable function HTTP start can't be invoked from Azure Web Jobs SDK. Is it missing the Azure Web Jobs SDK attributes? Probably. Because got service bus, durable task, extension storage. Don't think we need that. I think we just need to. How to use the Azure Web Job. Version 3 has support. Yep, cool. Cool. Azure Functions version 2 corresponds to 3 in Azure Functions version 2x. Okay, what version are we running? Well, it's got version 3, but I think it's because it can't handle. It's version 1. Hang on, let's go back. Let's go back. All right, so .NET Core. Well, we need version 3 then. In version 3, you need to explicitly install the storage binding extension required by the storage binding extension. Complicated much? Oh my goodness. I'm just going to rerun this. I was going to chuck it in Google. No. Okay, found a solution. You have to change the runtime version in your function app settings to beta to work with .NET Standard 2. Maybe if the tooling... However, once I update Azure Core Tools, formerly CLI, issue is gone. I think this is the biggest issue is you're trying to friggin' manage versioning. And then once you get your versioning, you don't touch it, which is a problem. Make sure the parameter type is supported in the binding. I think version SDK functions. Whoa. Well, version 3. What version was this? Oh, this is ages ago. When was this? It was in 2018. Okay, I think it might be because of... I'm gonna try one. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's not running. Host error has occurred. Files missing version property. Stop! Okay, it's not that. This is one of the reasons why I'm just kind of more and more leaning towards when you use a scripting engine and you actually just integrate, because the level of complexity that you require to actually just simply integrate is just astronomical. It blows me away every time. Azure WebJobs SDK. I'm just going to go and just download every bloody thing out of it and then see what if that fixes it. Is that Microsoft SDK uses Azure Storage, triggering a function in your program. Blah, blah, blah. Dribble tasks, service bus. We not using service bus or document DB. Extensions. Alright, I'm going to install this one. This is the extensions. WebJobs.extensions contains timers and file triggers. I'd be surprised if it contains... Just fighting many battles. This is frustrating. Okay. Let's compile. Let's see if it works. Yep, orchestration triggers not registered. Please ensure the correct binding is installed. Yep, that's fine. Let's hit it. I doubt it. What other attributes do you want? Why can't it invoke that durable function? And I bet you it's going to be to do with versioning. That's where my guess is. So 4.6, yeah. You're telling me it's on 4.6.1? Oh, where the hell is it? No, it's 2.1. I wonder if it needs to be a high version. What version is supported? 2.2. Doubt it. Yeah, it's still the same issue. No, but that shouldn't be an issue. Runtime should be set to beta. Yeah, that's 4.6. Yeah, no, it's only 4.6. It's .NET Core. Start a new orchestration. Fantastic. Let's go here. This is like literally frustrating. Some of the most frustrating things I've ever had to deal with is dealing with versioning and functions. Alright, I'm going to bin this whole project. We're going to start again. And I'm just going to leave. I'm not going to make any additional changes. Alright, so let's bin it. Let's go ahead and bin it. I wonder if VS Code can do this. I'll see if VS Code has the ability to do PowerShell. I'm just going to create a new folder. Oh, not PowerShell, C# templating. Let's create a workspace. Let's create a workspace. Let's drag that over. Like so. Let's create a workspace. Actually, what we need to do is go functions. Create a function. Just select the files. I'm just going to open folder. Go here. Select that folder. Let's go down here. Create a new project. Yep. Ooh, we got 3. We're just gonna run 2. Template. Let's just go timer trigger. Timer trigger. Yep. Is this gonna run PowerShell? It's running PowerShell. I don't want to run a PowerShell. Didn't want to run PowerShell. I thought you could specify the language function, so it must be only for PowerShell, which is that's alright. It's not the end of the world. Can I create a new one? Can we go HTTP blob? I wonder if there's. I wonder. I'm just curious now. I'm going to bin this function, so I'm just going to close everything down. And I'm going to give it another go, but this time I'm just going to see what's in version 3. Because if it's still PowerShell, then I'm just going to use PowerShell. But I doubt it though. Let's go ahead, new create function, yep, create a new project, preview. What do we got? Service bus, queue, storage, event. Let's see, orchestration. So in all, SendGrid. SendGrid. Might just use grids. Functions, order. Okay. This is frustrating. It's very, very frustrating. Automatically populated with value specifying. See, having a standard standard HTTP functions, very, very easy to write. Like, they're dead easy to write. Writing orchestrations, it's all right. Like, it's not the end of the world. Getting set up, well, yeah, it's easier said than done. So what it seems, source repos. This is like, well, we're just going to keep battling through it. We've got no other option. Let's go ahead and create a new project. We'll just call it that. Let's just stuck it in D drive. D/temp. Makes it easier. Go ahead and create it. Function triggers can be added during development. Storage emulation. Oh, that's fine. We'll just create a standard HTTP trigger, and then we're going to go ahead, run it, make sure everything's fine. Go around at our orchestrations. Not touching anything. Knowing my luck, it's probably all going to break. Okay, it is all going to break. What's my dependencies? It's version 3. Let's go ahead and fix that. Off to NuGet. Off to NuGet. Gotta fix these issues now. What do we got? Version 3. What's the latest? Version 3.1. Was it? I shouldn't have any issues with that. Okay, I'm just going to execute it, see if it runs. If it runs, it runs. We cap. It should run. There should be no issues with it. Fantastic if that's the case. All I want to do is run an orchestration and understand how it works. Okay, perfect. So that's fine. Okay, so cool. All right, so let's go ahead now and run, create an Azure function. Let's just go ahead and create an orchestration. Just gonna call it test function. Looks like it's happy because it's using version 1. I haven't tinkered with anything. And there it goes. It's working. Alright, I'm using version 1. I just don't have time to deal with all the shenanigans. Alright, so it's running. It's calling an async function. What? Actually, no, it's not because I didn't actually call it. I need to actually do that instead. So now it's running. It's saying g'day. Started. It's executed. Alright, good. Alright, so we've got our trigger. This is going to be a pain because I definitely going to need to do research into 2, but I'm into the new version. I'm hoping that they add that functionality into Azure, into PowerShell itself, because it would just be easier to have that ability just to call it itself versus actually calling all the other bits. So we've got our activities, got information. Okay, cool. All right, let's go ahead and create our own. So what I'm going to do, so we've got test function hello. So hello is taking a string name of name. That's what it's passing in. So essentially you can call an activity function based on and pass it a value. So essentially function value. That makes sense. Obviously await, context.call, activity async, function name, object input. So object can be whatever you want. It can essentially it's just whatever. You just need to define it, the activity. So that's fine. So let's go ahead and create another activity here. Let's go ahead and call it Smoky. Let's just call it test1. Oh God. Alright, so activity trigger, string name, ilog. Fantastic. Okay, so it needs to actually be called the name it doesn't actually necessarily have to be called the name itself, but we'll just, call it test1 for this old times. So we can call it that way, fine. Alright, so what we're going to do here is I want it to be able to generate a URL that it can return. I want to be able to, I want to have a look at events to actually register an event. So if we look at user input, durable functions, human interaction times out, this is the ones we want. So you can, for example, use Twilio. I'm not very interested in Twilio, I'm actually more interested in web. What's function? Yep. Where is it? There's a some code that this gentleman wrote. Passing input. Let's go approve deny. We'll just do that. Handling external events. This is what I want. Okay, so we're waiting. So essentially, orchestrated functions have the ability to wait and listen for external events. Feature of durable functions is often usable for handling interaction or other external triggers. External events are one-way asynchronous operations. They're not suitable for situations where the client is sending an event needs a synchronous response from the orchestrator function. Yep, that's fair enough. So the wait for external event allows for an orchestrator function to asynchronously wait and listen for an event. Okay, the listening orchestration function declares the name of the event and the shape of the data that it expects to receive. Ooh, okay. So if we got a budget approval, so let's just go ahead and grab this and we will just paste it in here and we'll call it test1. So contacts, wait for external event, bill approval. Okay, if approval granted, give approval action. Okay, yep. Note that the previous C# codes for durable functions, for durable functions 1, you need to do durable orchestrations context instead of iDurable concentration. Oh, because fantastic. Okay, so and then wait for external event, float event 1. var winner, await task when any, okay, so you can actually wait for either one of those to be approved. So you can generate, interesting, you can actually generate an approve or a deny. Oh, you just probably have the same. But you can have like a, you could have multiple. It's very interesting. All right. So event, so we need to actually call the event. So let's go and chuck that in there. So just copy and paste, messing around. Output to add. So we're going to var event context, wait for external event int event 3. So event 3 doesn't exist, but task, I'm just going to call it task 1. So task 1 exists. You can listen to multiple, yep. So this is some JavaScript. Note the previous code for durable functions. Send events. Raise event async or raise event. Instance ID approval true. The raise event method takes the event name and event data as parameters. The event data must be JSON serializable. Okay, so you just serialize it in. Yep. Below is an example queue triggered function that sends an approval to event to the orchestration function instance. So it's a queue trigger. No, that's for durable functions 2.0. We're going to get a 1. Versions for Azure Functions 2.0. Public stack run approval string instance ID. So it raises the event, but then how do you actually... Well, let's just chuck it in and have a play with it. I think that's probably the key thing here. Function name, orchestration trigger, durable orchestration context. Go ahead and install it. Because if I can at least see if it works and then work out how I can call it from a HTTP endpoint, then I'm pretty much done. There's only really, in terms of that's pretty much is how your approval process will work, which is fine, that's all good. But I think the issue will be is how do we deal with how do we actually get it embedded into a HTTP function itself? But baby steps, baby steps. All right, so durable client, orchestration client attribute. Just go ahead and run it and see what happens. I honestly think this is going to do absolutely nothing. Or it's going to completely break. Function error. Ambiguous match found. Approval queue processor. There are multiple methods with the name function at. Okay. So how do we call it? Listens. The previous example. listens for an event. Wait for an external event. That's what we're doing. Okay, we are waiting for an external event. Actually, we don't even need that. Just wait for an external event. Task 1. Let's just say context wait for external event. Bool approval. Okay, yep. Let's just say so it should, if we call it, it should just do absolutely diddly squat. If we run this, it should literally sit there and hang, and then once we know that's the case, we will is it waiting? I really should have wrote some log in there, shouldn't I? I'm gonna write a log in there. What am I gonna write? What do we have? A log. What's it? Is it passing a log in? Where's my log? Can I actually pass a log? Can I actually do that? You're not gonna let me do that. Executed test function succeeded. Okay, great. Is it waiting? Executed test function, hello. Well, it's completed. But it should be waiting for an event. Interesting. Interesting. Well, I think I'm going to take a quick break. I'm just going to get my thoughts for a second, and I'll give it a quick break for 5 minutes, and we'll be back. All right. Alrighty, I'm back. Okay, let's keep cracking on. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look at what this does. It's fine. I'm just going to drop a breakpoint on it and just hit it again. We'll hit it again. Alright, well, there's a few exceptions that we've got here. What are they? The task was cancelled. Okay, if you find one of those. I just want to see this work. That's what I really want to see. Is just call the Drupal function. It's waiting on the event to be called. That's all I want to see. Okay, now we've hit it. What are you going to do? Download source, continue debugging. It just keeps going on. Oh wait. Ah. Might need to put in a wait there, shouldn't I? Actually, what? Why is this not running? This is like super frustrating. Registration context. Yep. All 3 departments must grant approval before a permit can be issued. I actually have to wait it here, so I have to go wait. Task when all event 3. What's it whinging about? Yep, that's fine. And let's see what happens now. Go ahead and reload. And we should have it not finish. It should just sit there and hang its shell. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to do it this way. I'm going to put it on the front of it just because it makes it easier. We know it executes first, and we don't see all the other jazz come through. So let's see that. Now that once we can do that and we can see that working, we can then hook it into old matey, and then we are done. Alright, so let's do that. So let's hit it. What's its status? It's running. Look at this. Perfect. So it's waiting for that event to be called, which it'll never ever get called because I have no idea how to call it. But that's a good start. It means basically now we know that we have to await the actual result. I thought we had to, the method itself was doing it, but I just didn't read the code properly. So what that means now is we can do this. So we're now waiting for this external event approval to be called. Let's go ahead and stop the code. And let's go and raise that event. So how do we raise an event? Await client.raise event. Where do we got client? Drupal orchestration. Starter. Well, there's starter. Is there I think I have to have a separate Drupal orchestration to be able to call it. I think that's going to be the case because you can see here that HTTP start. Alright, well then what we can do is do this. Task function, HTTP, I'm just going to call this event. Like so, I'm going to call this event. I'm literally just going to kinda raise an error. Let's call it client. And then we can go, we don't even need to return anything, we'll just go client dot wait, client dot raise instance ID. What's the instance ID? How is it preserving the instance ID? Queue trigger, approval crew. I have no idea what the instance ID is going to be. I'm guessing it's the instance ID. Okay, so we're just gonna have to figure that out. Alright, how do I get my instance ID? Queue trigger approval queue. I'm just gonna see what the internet says. Oops. What do they say? They say, okay, we're just gonna go, whatever puts the message on the queue is going to trigger your get message from queue, so you'll need to understand what instance is trying to target. Yeah, that's what I expect. In a specific scenario you've laid out above, I expect a HTTP trigger based function to return a body that includes the instance ID. Right now you're returning the HTTP response message that's created by, yep, the document is 202, yep. Okay, so we kind of need to return the instance ID to kind of work it out. And maybe okay. What should I do? What should I do? I'm going to see what the instance IDs were. Yeah, okay. I could just plug in the instance ID into that's what I'm going to do. So HTTP request, reg query, I'm just going to do it this way. I'm just going to take a string like so. This is what we're going to do. Instance ID, registry, instance ID. Why can't I quit? Oh, hang on. Let me just have a quick look. if we get all hot and bothered. HTTP request. Rec. Is that HTTP request? Is it type HTTP request? Oh, it's HTTP request message. What if I'm just going HTTP request? Let's do it that way. I just want a HTTP request. Alright, let's try this. We are going just to pass a string instance ID through as a not a code path return value. Alright. You want something return. Instance ID. Okay, let's try this. Oh, far out. Okay. Cute. Just going to send new object. Success. Don't tell me here. Oh, my light just turned off. It ran out of battery. Cannot convert link to system HTTP response message. Okay. I'm just gonna return. What the hell do I need to return? What's it returning? HTTP response message. Does it even need to be a HTTP response message? I'm literally hacking this function together so I can just kinda at least see the concept work, and then I can focus on it in my own time. This just drives me absolutely bananas. Why is it lynching? What's it using there? Okay, so it's using SP.NET Core. Alright, so this should be a static. So this is a static function with and I've included an orchestration, a durable orchestration client with the iLogger. So it's just a standard HTTP function which will send a response back saying happy days. You got to pass the instance ID as the query, and it'll just send it through. And we should see happy days, and the world should be a happy place, and everything should be great. So let's give this a go and let's see what happens. If this is done, then that makes I'm happy. I'll close that down because it means that then I can go have dinner. So we have oh my god. So we have HTTP event. So let's go ahead and run that. And that's going to give us. So let's go ahead and run that here. So we're triggering the HTTP event, which has now triggered the job. So, oh shoot. It's waiting on the response. It's going to sit and hang until. Oh, hang on. It's HTTP start. Sorry, my bad. So it's HTTP start. So if I trigger this, okay, cool. I'm now looking for an instance ID. So let's just get the status. Okay, that's my instance ID. So now I'm just going to drop that on the clipboard for chat. We should be able to go and hit the other one, which is HTTP event, like so, and then we can add the instance ID to the end, like so, and we should be able to raise an event like so, like that. There we go, that's a success, which means then it should have triggered all that. Now if we re-trigger this, we should see it completed. Yes! Look at that. That is an awesome win. That's a fantastic win. So essentially what we did here is we've got, I'll just stop the code. Now it makes me a little bit more sense. So essentially we've got our event that we're waiting for an event, which is called approval. And then when that event, we're waiting for that event to complete. Then basically we have this, we don't think we use that. No, we don't. And then what I do is I have a static function here which passes the instance ID. So you need to get the instance ID of the actual Drupal function before you can do anything. Ah, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. I'm just thinking now. So what that means for approvals is that when we generate that specific approval URL, you will just append the instance ID to the end, and probably some extra stuff for some authentication. But then you just have your function authentication set to that. So that's a win. Call that an excellent win. It might be really terrible code, but at least I can understand that we're waiting for an external event to be triggered, and then basically, which is this event here, it needs to raise this event. Actually, no, it doesn't. It doesn't even talk to that. That's not even in use. We can actually bin it. So essentially, it raises this event, or waits for this event to be raised, and then basically I can raise an async event. I pass the instance ID because it's just passed through the URL as a query, and then it proves it. And that's it. It's very basic. Well, that's a good win, and I think we're going to leave it at that today. Frustrating. Very, very frustrating. I will have to say that it was a journey, and it took a little while to get my head around it again, but we've smashed it out, and I'm very, very happy to see the actual response and it working. So it means that that's one part that I'm not having to worry about as much now. So the next thing we're going to be working on Saturday is we're going to be creating a bot. We're going to be expanding on this process here, so that basically it will talk to Microsoft Teams. I'm just going to use a webhook. Actually, no, I'm actually going to post it to a user. We're going to create a test user and we'll post it. And then once we can see that that user has it, it should be able to click on that link to then subsequently do that. The only, obviously it's all internal, so I'm just going to use the local host links for the time being, but I'm still happy with the results. So anyway, guys, thank you for joining us. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you disliked it, obviously say how much you hated it in the comments, because it definitely was a real struggle for me to get going. Yeah, we'll go from there. But anyway, guys, hope you liked it. Anyway, see you next time. Bye for now.